Alright, good morning, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for some more legacy action. Today we are going to be playing with an interesting Goblins deck list. So right now the most popular Goblins versions are really built around Muxus. Card is just so powerful. You get to reveal the top 6 cards of your library, put all Goblin creature cards with CMC 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield. That's so strong. You get to hit like every goblin in your deck except for Muxus. Like you can hit a Kiki Jiki off Muxus. That's just insane. Morning, LCO Dato. Hope things are going well. Uh, Dr. Bill, good luck with the daycare. Uh, Definitely the sort of thing that would be making me nervous. I hope you have a good place with high safety standards. Yeah, so this Goblins deck is a little different though. So many of the current Goblin decks are really going not all in, but highly in on accelerating Muxus out with lots of Skirk Prospectors, sometimes even Ancient City of Traders to like really power out this bad boy. But this version doesn't really play many colorless lands because of Conspicuous Snoop. So this is the version of Goblins that is all in on the like Kiki Jiki combo. So the idea is you play Boggart Harbinger and you put a Kiki Jiki on top of your library. Conspicuous Snoop has the activated ability of that Kiki Jiki. So that's pretty cool, right? So you go Conspicuous Snoop, tap it, targeting itself. Conspicuous Snoop might have the ability of Kiki Jiki, but it's not a legendary creature. So you create a new Conspicuous Snoop that also has Kiki Jiki's ability, and you repeat this until you have a whole bunch of these. Then, with the last one, you go and you Kiki Jiki target Boggart Harbinger. And then you go and put a Sling Gang Lieutenant on top of your library. And now the Snoops have the activated ability of Sling Gang, so you can bleed out your opponent very quickly. Otter Lady, thank you very much for your continued support as well. Just quick aside, Pokemon names. Rattata, Rattatat, Rattata. No matter how you say that Pokemon's name, no matter how many extra syllables you add, no matter how you pronounce it or mispronounce it, everyone knows that you're talking about that little purple rodent. Throwing it out there. Interesting. Most of the rest of the main deck here is kind of what you would expect. We do have a few things with activated abilities in here that Snoop can like randomly hit for value, Skirk Prospector, or Crater Maker, or Trash Master, for example. And the sideboard is largely to deal with unfair stuff. Interestingly, a copy of Eliminate has made it into the sideboard here. I don't know how I feel about that because, like, by God, pyrokinesis is a hell of a drug. And I don't know that I've ever played goblins with less than 2 of those. But the ability to nuke some of these, like, new and very powerful planeswalkers, like Karn and Oko, is probably pretty darn good. So I'm not necessarily questioning this inclusion, but my heart longs for more pyrokinesis blowouts. Just saying. Morning, Klein and Andy. That said, go ahead and hop into a league. Morning, Overvoltage. Nice to see you again. Oh, and thank you very much to Grumpsh for donating A, to sponsor this league, and B, for letting me borrow Muxus and Snoops. So fine, Andy, just interesting aside, Oko is not particularly good against goblins, right? So if you Oko on, like, say this stuff down here, you have grown the creature. And the same is true for just about every creature in this deck, right? So when you elk something, you increase the size of the creature that your opponent has. And when your opponent is dumping in threats left And right, that's not all that spooky. Like you might stop them from doing the absolute scariest thing that they can do with these goblins, but like if I turn one lackey, attack with it, put in a creature, and then you like elk it on turn three, like I have Goblin Lackey plus a creature already, and you made my Goblin Lackey bigger. Similarly, there's a lot of things with ETB triggers in this deck, like Munitions Expert and Goblin Matron and Goblin Chain Whirler and Boggart Harbinger. So you don't actually get as much value out of Oko as you do in, sorry, against other decks. And that's something I didn't understand until I had a conversation with Eli about it. That is Goblin Lackey 1. Anyway, hope you all are having a good morning. Oh, Karn is creature or planeswalker, CMC 3 or less. Okay, yeah, Karn, bad example there. Yeah, I mean, Daddy wants a second pyrokinesis. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if like the Eliminate is the card that should go for that, or if like I take out the random pithing needle, but like almost every time I see a Goblin's blowout screen, it's like either pyrokinesis or Muxus. Like I know XJ Cloud has been playing some goblins, and he posted a screenshot this morning getting a 4-for-1 against elves. Like, well, it's a 4-for-2, but you know, it was disgusting. So, life right now is interesting. Got a couple more days before school starts up. In that time, I need to frantically do a billion different things. Beginning of the school year is always full of meetings and such, but more so than normal this year due to coronavirus. Also, kind of training two new colleagues. Not that they have no experience under their belts, but they're relatively new teachers. They're adjusting to a new school, plus all this coronavirus like stuff and safety measures. So, doing what I can to help out some newbies. Then I have to do all the things like get my Google Classroom together, add the students to it, adapt my materials from like being paper materials to being online only materials, figure out when I'm scheduling classes for, figure out how many live sessions I'm gonna have. It's weird. Definitely gonna be one of those things where like after the fact I'm going to have learned a ton from it, but right now it just makes me want to take a nap. Yeah, that's the thing. Like most of the time, like I go to work, all the materials are in my head, and I just start talking, and I start playing games with students, I start doing activities, and like it requires almost no work for me. The start of the online stuff is a little bit rough. This is a hand that probably does nothing. So like munitions expert without something like Logworm Marshal or Goblin Lackey to make it so that you actually have some goblins before this comes down is like not great. I think I'm just gonna mulligan this hand and try to find something that's a little bit more proactive, especially when I'm on the draw. Well, I am keeping this hand. Assume I don't need Skirk. Probably supposed to throw back Skirk or Matron. If I keep Skirk, I have a better chance of like going for quick like Snoop Matron combo. But the like Kiki Jiki in hand is kind of awkward there. I think I'm just gonna throw back the Skirk and hope that my opponent is playing a slower deck where I can just like do Vile Matron shenanigans. So that first hand that had the one of Caracas. I don't like anything about what's going on the other side of the table. I don't like it at all. Oh. This is probably a time where I am supposed to play that Goblin Lackey over the Vial. So don't have a lot of information about like which variant my opponent is playing currently in terms of colors. Like if I have Punishing Fire to worry about. So I probably have one of either Punishing Fire or Oko to worry about, which will be so Oko would be good against Vial or Lackey. Vial is really important for this Matron stuff. But like if my opponent can get this Tabernacle back, my life is very bad anyway. I think I'm gonna fetch for a stable mana source and try the Lackey. My opponent can get back this Tabernacle or remove the Lackey. I probably fall pretty far behind very quickly. So might as well like make the highest EV play. All right. Not mana for an Oko. There's a pause, which means my opponent has multiple lines. Well, I love that. I should play that out? Question mark. I don't think my opponent is going to be like a Turbo Depths deck with Tabernacle, so I don't think I need to play around Crop Rotation and Spirit Guide blocking Goblin Lackey. I think I would want to not show this until I absolutely have to. Alright, so this will be a Maze of Ith. Yeah, that's fine. So notably, I don't have Rishadan Port in this build. I have 4 Wastelands to answer this. So, like, instead of playing Rishadan Ports as the additional, like, colorless lands, we have Gaia's Cradle and Caracas filling those roles and making the red count slightly higher than normal to make Snoop more castable. Alright. Am I playing around a spirit guide? The answer is no. Then I guess there's also like crop rotation for Urborg. Crop rotate Maze of Ith into Urborg, tap Dark Depths, Urborg, copy win. This is an awkward turn in that like I kind of want to Wasteland, I kind of want to Goblin Matron, I kind of want to hold up Caracas. Yeah, though if our opponent has a one of Ancient Tomb for like sphere reasons, those sideboard games, that's something that also beats me. Can I win next turn if I just cast Matron? I can Matron or Snoop, put Snoop on top of my library, put in Snoop, Wasteland, Maze of Ith, attack with Goblin Lackey, put, no, no. It doesn't work because the Snoop won't have the activated ability of the Kiki Jiki. Alright. I think I'm just gonna like try to make them deal with the Wasteland and then hope to beat them with the Caracas. I'm gonna try to play patiently, hoping that like this vial getting to 3 allows me to break this game open. How do I just waste? I guess I can do the same sort of thing after making some decisions on my turn. Stop in my draw step. So now I kind of want to force them to just make the Merit Lodge so I can answer it with Caracas. Sorry about that. Yeah, go ahead and take out the Dark Depths. It sucks that we're not answering the Maze of Ith too, but whatever. Line is awkward in the face of another crop rotation. Oh, they have just waited. That's interesting. That just means they have another one and they're willing to wait a turn. Guess that means I'm skipping my land drop, huh? Alright. So just mistake that I made before this game started. I think when I mulligan, I should have put this Kiki Jiki just back into the deck. Like having the Kiki Jiki in hand is kind of bad because it shuts off like the Snoop combo aspect, and it just like turns into a value Kiki Jiki. Possible I should have just kept the Skirk Prospector for that reason in the initial mulligan decision. Also, not super sure how I feel about 3 Munitions Expert without Mod War Marshals. Oh god. Yeah, I found life from the loam. Um, it seems like I don't beat that. What am I doing this turn? Matron for Crater Maker blow up Mox Diamond, New combo is off. Not anywhere close to bleeding out with Sling Gang. Not anywhere close to casting or viling in Muxus. Life feels bad. Alright, so this is the world I've come up with to maybe win this game, and it's sketchy, but I have a plan. We're going to take a second Goblin Lackey. Pay for both Goblin Lackeys, let the Matron go next turn, and then hope to connect with Goblin Lackey. And also, like, use a Vial to get Muxus and, I don't know, hopefully win the game instantly. I'm asking for a lot of things right now, basically. But this is the path that I see. Yeah, but like Muxus into Sling Gang plus something else would be kind of cool. My opponent just playing Dark Depths and passing is kind of spooky, because then my double connect with Goblin Lackey plan is off the table between like block plus Maze of Ith. see what we can figure out. Um, Jadehem, I'm kind of hoping that they make a Merit Lodge on their turn to play around Wasteland, and I get to get them via Caracas. Kind of my dream. Take it. MC Punter. Take that 2020. Do it for Muxus. Okay. Oof. That's brutal. Keep the old art one. I think this is the point where I'm comfortable throwing in the towel. Like, this Caracas is never really going to do what I want. My opponent has, like, Maze of Ith plus Tabernacle plus Life from the Loam plus Blast Zone plus Thespian Stage plus Depths. Um, I think I'm good there. Needle seems fine to me, and some of these seem fine to me. I'm not sure how many I am supposed to play. Like, I definitely want the surgicals, and the ley lines I'm a little bit less sure about. I'm probably going to board out all but one of the munitions experts. I maybe want to leave one around to have access to tutor or a removal spell for a tireless tracker, but generally speaking, that card's not going to be good. Crater Maker's fine. Gempalm Incinerator similarly is probably kind of awkward. Look, we're not throwing the blanket. The blanket and I have a pretty good relationship at this point. Oh, awesome. Well, glad you could make it. We got started a touch earlier than I was expecting to. What do you think about sideboarding? Like, do I bring in the ley lines as well? My thought was trim removal, and then I'm not sure about the ley lines versus lands. Yeah, we can like go down a chain whirler. I probably want to keep the crater makers for Mox and you. You're okay. I don't know. Maybe I don't need like 2 Creator Makers plus Trash Master for Moxum. I'll just keep this as a generic Lord. Ram that. Try this. Nope. Yikes. I don't think this is acceptable on 6. Like at this stage, I think a Goblin Lackey hand or an Ether Vial hand is better than like this. This is just like a 0 gas hand. My pressure is a 1/1. Both my pieces of disruption are soft. I'm gonna try to fish for better. Get 5 of these. I'll keep this. My mana's not stable, which I dislike. I don't think I need that. And I think I pitch the Muxus. Like, the card's dumb. But if I spike Goblin Lackey and put in Goblin Ringleader, that's also still very good, while this is, like, hard castable earlier on in the game. I was stopping my own upkeep from when I was playing a different deck. Yeah, if they didn't keep a Life from the Loam based hand, I'm in trouble. Like, if they can just make a Merit Lodge on turn 3, like, that's good enough. This sort of thing is also just wrong. They're thinking about it. Yeah. There goes some of my best draws. The good news is opponent only has 2 mana. And they could be a Force of Vigor that gets rid of this. They just junked a exploration there, so they probably have an answer to the ley line if that's something that they want. Like, we're so close. We're so close. I think I'm supposed to play this. Pay for it next turn, hope to rip Wasteland off the top so I can connect in and Goblin Ringleader and do something. Yeah, feels like we don't get to beat the natural Maze of Ith Tabernacle draw. That's real rough. Uh, have a crop rotation now. End me. End my suffering. Please. Please. No, just hard cast Force of Vigor, remove Leyline. That's fine. It's obviously not fine. Alright. We're dead now. Alright, that was a rough round one. We're less equipped than normal goblins to beat Maze of Ith because we don't have access to Rashadenport. Much faster queue time for round 2. Alright. What am I gonna do? Not wasteland that tropical island? We have Skirk Prospector into Force now. Touch late. Anyway, we have Skirk Prospector into Munitions Expert to try and kill the Delver. Nice. And I think I'm going to play this one controlling rather than just like try to go snoop into Harbinger. I might be working towards the combo now. Or we can just call this one good. It seems like a really early concession. Feels like we board in about 4 removal spells and call it a day. Don't think I want Chalice here. My gut kind of says that I'm trying to play this like control-y, grindy game versus Delver. So I don't want like the awkward ones that like rely on my creatures not getting lightning bolted. Chalice is good here. So then I not bring in the blasts? So like this was how I would have boarded. Last suck versus the good cards. Yeah, I guess that's fair. So then I cut the combo, and I cut the Trash Master, and then I need to make one more cut. We just like trim one Snoop for being a red card. In agreement. Morning, Jay. We've hopped in on Goblins versus Rug Delver, and we are up a game. Our opening hand is pretty good. Like we have 2 removal spells and a must answer card. That's a fine place to be. Alright, here's the dig for Bolt. I don't know that I love playing Volcanic Island prior to that. Like, I don't know. I'm just going to play into Wasteland. So like, if my opponent plays a Wasteland, they can Wasteland my Cavern of Souls already, right? So like, I want to make sure that I can still cast my cards after a Wasteland. I can do that by getting a basic Swamp and a basic Mountain by playing my fetch lands in the opposite order. But then I can't do something like play a red card, like Conspicuous Snoop, and I get further away from casting cards like Goblin Chain Whirler. Other Chalice of the Void. This might just be a fine time for an uncounterable munitions expert killing the Delver. Like, just plan on dragging this game on for a little while. I don't love playing the Chalice here because I haven't given my opponent a chance to like force a will anything yet this game because of my Cavern of Souls. So like I'd rather play a Chalice on 4 mana when I can do 2 of them in a turn or something like that. I'm going to save this fetch land so that I have the flexibility of fetching away Chalice. There's also a world where I'm supposed to fetch now and try to hit Skirk Prospector or Goblin Lackey. But I don't know that that's actually a high enough percentage play that it's better than just like waiting to see whether or not I want this other Chalice of the Void. I'm not sure that I want this anymore. It's fine. But I don't know that it's better than just like a land. That's an interesting land. Uncounterable Crater Maker. Remove Delver. Also cast Chalice of the Void. Okay. We have like uncounterable Muxus around the corner as well. Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like a 10 Street Hooligan. What year is it? That was unexpected. Okay, so I hit another Snoop and a Matron. Okay, so I boarded the combo out. I don't just do absolutely disgusting things, or I just do regular disgusting things. Seems like most things that I get win. Like I have a lot of bleed in my hand already. I think I'll just take a Ringleader in case something goes wrong. was gonna say I don't really care if you bolt my guy, but that's not what's happening. Okay. But it says GG's. Yeah, like I attack with this Muxus, they're gonna have to like jump block with the Tarmogoyf. I have Ringleader and Sling Gang in the hole. I have 4, 8, so I get to like Ringleader plus Sling Gang this turn. I can also like Goblin Matron into War Chief into Pile Driver, I think. Just disgustingly powerful setup versus what my opponent had going on. Like, since they didn't have Wasteland and everything that I played all game got to be uncounterable, um, that was just disgusting. Would like to play first. I would like to keep. This is an interesting. Do I play the Vial versus do I play a Goblin Lackey hand? Both are insanely good starts. They just dodge different angles of interaction. So the Vial is better if our opponent has spot removal, but worse if they have a counterspell, and vice versa. So like the Lackey start is faster, and opponent has to have a removal spell in their opening hand. And if they have a removal spell in their opening hand to stop this, they don't Wasteland the Cavern, and I just play another Lackey on turn 2 and ask them the same question again. I think it's correct to just play Lackey. Full Dart Lackey, I think, is the play. Do you think they'll let the Goblin Lackey through? I don't think they're going to let the Goblin Lackey through. Do a little dance with my Goblin Lackey here. After he has done the dance, send him in. Oh my god, it's happening. Oh! Whoa! Anything could happen here. Even a Muxus. It appears that my Goblin Lackey dance was effective. Oh my god, a Goblin Trashmaster and a Matron. Chain Whirler? Crater Maker? Missions Expert? Generator? Like, there's a lot of things that are good here. I'm just going to take the Chain Whirler as insurance against a bunch of X1s hitting play. All right. Opponent has now realized that maybe blocking with Mom was okay. We are probably just sideboarding very lightly here. Like, pile driver is pretty The lesson is don't play D&T. I mean, yeah, that bot command stopped working. I have to fix that at some point, but I never remember to fix it. Yeah, I feel like I just outvalue D&T. I don't need these. Like, just playing Kiki Jiki to copy ringleaders and matrons is totally fine. That's what I'm gonna do. When do I goldfish muck? Turn 1 Prospector, turn 3 War Chief, turn 4 3 4 5 6. This is turn 4 Muxus. Doing nothing to what my opponent has. Also, I can be disrupted in a number of ways. Gut says send this one back. But, like, Muxus is dumb, and maybe it's not the case that I do. What? So I don't have Mod War Marshal to, like, really make Skirk Prospector stupid. I have 18 draws that really improve this hand significantly. I think I'm going to keep this one on the draw. Yeah, so we don't have Mod War Marshal in the deck, period, which makes Skirk Prospector and Missions Expert worse than in traditional Goblins. Yeah, comical flop. Agreed. Vitae is problematic at this. Those draws that made this hand good. We missed on all of them. I'm fine. I can still stop my opponent from getting Jitte counters via Skirk Prospector. Ooh, opponent does not have more land. Interesting. The opponent has a Jitte. Went out the Swords to Plowshares too. I'm on the back foot here since they had the Swords to Plowshares as well. Ah! Hmm. That was an acceptable draw. We'll take that. I don't think I'm blocking with this next turn. I want to be able to just cast Muxus for 6 next turn, and this reduces cost by 1. Interesting. They also could have just like flickered the Pithing Needle, attack with Stoneforge, and removed my Goblin Warchief. Is potentially better than that line. Oh my god. That one can eat the Stoneforge. That one can eat the Flicker Wisp. Goblin Ringleader occurs, getting me a Munitions Expert and a Conspicuous Snoop. Those can go on the bottom in any order. I've played a land. Fucking lol. You like to bounce my Muxus before you concede. Opponent says GG. Yeah, Goblin Show and Tell is dumb. Notably so far, the Boggart Harbinger Kiki Jiki portion of the deck has felt awkward. I like the Cradle. I like the Cradle a lot. But I think I've boarded some portion of these cards out all 3 rounds thus far. Admittedly, we're not playing against combo decks where I'm just trying to goldfish as quickly as possible. But I'm not sure that those 3 cards are better than having something like 1 more Muxus and 2 Goblin War Marshals or something. Sure. Here's Wasteland into dump creatures into hand via Goblin Lackey every turn. Good. I feel like that's good against Underground Sea. Let's draw a Muxus. Oh, this is a combo. This is a combo. Like that. So this attacks for 3 next turn, this attacks for 2 next turn, so I should play this one first. Oh, we're playing against 4 color. No? Yes. We might be dead. I'm not familiar enough with the current deck list to know whether or not we're like deterministically dead. So we have 4 damage in the hole. That LED's pretty good. So my opponent needs to build a little bit of storm count because I can gain some life off of Gang. And now between Dark Ritual and Wishclaw Talisman, I think I'm just dead. I do not believe we get to untap. Our opponent goes Wishclaw into rolls here. It's a shame. We had to turn 3 Goldfish and it wasn't fast enough. Like, we put in Pashalik Mons with Goblin Lackey's trigger, and then we sack our board, and our opponent dies. Pyrokinesis class. So we have 6 definite winners, and then probably another 5 cards that we can consider bringing in. The Graveyard Hate is eh. It stops the echo-based lines, which is cool. And the blasts are similarly, like, they stop echo, they stop cantrips, but, like, not super what you want to be doing. I think it's good enough. It's good enough. Burned from chat. All right. So, Munitions Expert seems like it can go pretty easily. Storm confirmed broken. So our creature removal is probably the first thing that goes. So the Munition Experts and the Jump Home. I think we keep Chain Whirler because it sweeps goblins. But Ringleaders. Okay, I can buy that. Yeah, I mean, I also think the blasts are medium. Cut vials or ley lines. That's interesting. I kind of want to go with my gut and not do that. Something like that makes sense to me. Say no on that one. Eh. Say no on this one. Is this how you win with a 5 card hand? Seems like this is how you win with a 5 card hand. Do I want to be able to cast a Snoop, or do I want to be able to wasteland them? I think I want to be able to wasteland them. So what I'm thinking is if they fetch for a non-basic, like an Underground Sea, and then Thoughtseize me, I get to Wasteland, which means that I have time to draw something new with the Goblin Lackey. Or we can just do it all. That's fine too, I guess. Goblin Matron and Boggart Harbinger. Want to resolve the trigger first? I think I'm just going to take a Sling Gang so that I can sack my board next turn. Actually, maybe I put the Sling Gang on top of the library so it's not vulnerable to discard and just take another Goblin Lackey to hand. Yeah. Do that. Sorry, I had it all. Is Blast better than Leyline? I don't know if I believe that. I think they do different things. I think it's Blasts are good for protecting your chalice. Uh, Like Leyline of the Void stops an angle of attack, right? Like whereas the blasts under normal circumstances hits cantrips. But all the blasts on the draw. I could see the last being similar to Vile in terms of utility. I will I will buy that. Yeah. This is an awkward one. So I have an out to goblins. And I shut off the graveyard. Does this hand actually win, though? Not sure that it does. I shut off one weak angle, and then a Thoughtseize turns this hand into a do-nothing hand. I think I'm going to try to find something better. Hand is much better. I still don't know that this hand wins, but it has a better shot. Like, we're not great against my opponent being able to go off on turn one, but like we have 2 mind break traps, so that's whatever. But we get like turn one Lackey plus Chalice on 0. That's pretty good. Just get Echo. The Leyline start would have been very good against their start. Ooh. I get a turn. Well, fancy that. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to keep Blast up or if I'm supposed to just Pithing Needle Wishclaw Talisman. I think I'm supposed to keep Blast up. It's just awkward if my opponent has a discard spell. Cradle's been fine. Like, fine to good. The Boggart Harbingers and Oops have been eh, but like Luxus, A plus gold star. I think I want a black mana in case somehow like my opponent echoes again or something. Like I want to have access to black mana at some point in this game. I'm just gonna go ahead and grab this. Play a lackey. Put off Wishclaw Talisman. I'm not sure that I would have cast that Brainstorm there. Seems like that's a like let's wait and try to sculpt something that can win Brainstorm. Alright, chat, what's the play? What's the play? We have a number of things that we could do. Goblins is a very, very difficult deck to pilot. You have so many decisions, so many things that you can. Oh, it's Muxus. We're gonna get Muxus. All right, that's gotta happen every once in a while. Whatever, it still hits like a truck. This attack, it's for attacking, right? No, it's for each other goblin you control. So that means it's correct to cast this free combat. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. The opponent wasn't dead, right? 9, 10, 11, 8. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more damage on board. Is 1 damage, right? Yeah. So opponent was not technically dead there, but they were probably effectively dead. Oh, they know they're top from Brainstorm. Yeah. That's a good point. This league's going quickly. Like, I've been live for an hour and a half, and we did the deck tech plus 4 rounds. Not been the case with some of the decks that we've played recently. So as we're going into round 5 here, I just want to take a minute to say that I am still looking for a couple of donations for August. So I currently have openings for Wednesday, August 12th, Saturday, August 22nd, and Saturday, August 9th. So if you're interested in seeing something on stream this month, we have 3 spots. I think I'm going to be on an Ether Vial hand rather than a Goblin Lackey hand. We're probably playing against Blue-Red Delver. Gut shot? All right. This feels like one of those like Mad Lad memes. Lackey, no! It can be common. It can be played. Don't know that I think that that means it's like when I think about things that matter in this format, I think about like Uro, Oko, Arcanist, Armagoyf, Flipped Delvers. Like, Gutshot does not conceptually address a lot of the problems that I'm worried about. Like this is the dream. So there's a couple of different ways that I can play this. I can mate well, I guess all of them start with me casting this Goblin Matron, and if this doesn't resolve, it's not worth spending the time talking about like what I would have done if it resolved. Okay. So I can go for a Snoop based kill, like Snoop into Boggart Harbinger off a Vial, or I can go for a Goblin Lackey Muxus thing. Both are soft to removal. So like Munitions Expert is not particularly great. Crater Maker is probably a safe play. Muxus is like the high risk, high reward play, but if my opponent's randomly playing a bunch of gut shots, relying on Goblin Lackey is kind of eh. I don't know. I think maybe Munitions Expert is like I also have the Goblin Lackey to put in, so my opponent has to have double removal spell to take me off of killing Delver. And try to make myself not dead to lightning bolt. I get wrecked by a gut shot. I don't think there's any world in which I can let them lightning bolt in the next turn cycle, and I win. My out is pick Vial up to 3, put in Boggart Harbinger, put Gem Palm Incinerator on top of Library, draw Gem Palm Incinerator, and opponent does not have an instant. That's the out. Okay, is there any difference between doing this on my turn and their turn? Brainstorm on either turn beats me. A Force of Negation doesn't change things. A Counterspell does not change things. But if I cycle now, I can draw a land, and assuming this works, that is an advantage for me. Yeah, so I think I cycle now. Oh, neat. In the short term, we are dead to land Lightning Bolt. That's not quite land Lightning Bolt, but it's similar. Might be correct to tick Vial up to 4, even though I don't have a 4-drop, because Sling Gang is something that can make me gain life. So I can't cast Munitions Expert right now. I don't have black. Crater Maker doesn't get a kill. Chainwhirler doesn't get a kill. Already used the Incinerator. No, the Vial's already on 3. So Matron for removal spell does not do it here. I think I'm supposed to tick up to 4. Oh, that's interesting. So if I leave it at 3 and I draw red land, no, I don't also get Augur Harbinger. That doesn't work. Okay, I don't know. Kiki. Start stopping. Yeah, pick up. Muxus. Usually the draw that I'm looking for, not the draw that I'm looking for here. I have died. I think I like Blasts, Pyro, Eliminate, maybe Chalice. I don't like this portion of the combo. We trim a couple of those. We trim one of those. This. I think I'm looking at something approximating this. It's possible that Chain Whirler is worse than a Snoop. Chain Whirler can kill unflipped Delvers, but if my opponent is relying on Stormwing Entity, then some of the other flex threats, like Young Pyromancer, probably don't make the cut. Like, there are worlds where my opponent plays Young Pyromancer in this deck. I don't think they do. Like, conceptually, I don't think they do, but I'm not familiar with this list. Kind of inclined to just cut the Chain Whirler. Actually, if I'm running 27 creatures, the other ringleader might be kind of bad. I can still leave one in as a matron target. I mean, yeah. You have stable mana, a Goblin Lackey to start things off, Snoop and Crater Maker as follow-ups, a Blast for a threat that gets into play. This is totally fine. I was about to have this conversation about whether or not, like, I was going to play Snoop or whether or not I was going to, like, play a Reb around Days or what, but now let's just try to remove a Delver and stick another Lackey. That day is pretty good if I don't draw another land. It means that I either like trade one of these 4 days or I have to wait to play my cards. Not sure which I would do. Wait, lightning bolt. Um, maybe trade Snoop for days so that I can play Creator Maker next turn in case I miss a land drop. It sucks that like we have to play our removal spell in a way that like plays our removal spell into a lightning bolt. It is what it is, but not ideal. We really wanted a third land. No shuffle. And save 1 point of damage by blocking the Arcanist, then killing Delver. I would randomly expose myself to something like a Stifle. I don't think I'm gonna worry about that. I think this unchecked Dreadhorde Arcanist just very handily wins this game, though. Like with a gut shot and a lightning bolt in the graveyard after this ponder resolves. Like that kills 2 threats. Right, trample. Good point. Uh-oh. Feels like I'm dead. I'm actually dead now. 3, 4, 7, 8. Not technically dead now, but I think I'm effectively dead now. I don't know what my draw is that gets me out. Yeah, I don't know if opponent's Delver deck is actually good, but like playing a whole bunch of Gutshots main deck against Goblins feels great. Yeah. So with this deck list, I like the Cradle in it, and I dislike all of this stuff. Like the Muxus portion of the deck was the most impressive portion of the deck this league. Just like Goblin Lackey into Muxus, just stole games left and right. It was very, very powerful. We did not assemble the Boggart Harbinger Kiki-Jiki Conspicuous Snoop combo at any point in this league, and we also did not play very many cards off of Conspicuous Snoop. Like, I think we cast a card off of Snoop in 5 rounds. So, as far as my evaluation of this goes, like these were the cards that I most commonly boarded out, which does lead to my opinion being lowered on them because like if I'm always boarding them out, I decrease the chances that I can actually combo off. You feel like Snoop is better versus slower matchups. But like Snoops could be two more Goblin Ringleaders or two more Muxus or both, right? And like those would be insane against slow decks. I like Conspicuous Snoop much less than something like Mystic Forge. So Mystic Forge attached to it has the ability to filter the top of the library, whereas Conspicuous Snoop doesn't. And I don't know, like it's a red card, which means that when you have Cradle Caracas or Wasteland, it's a little bit harder to cast than normal. Like there are definitely worlds where Conspicuous Snoop is good. Like it's another way to help you race combo when you like have the ability to like backdoor combo. But like trying to interact with my opponent while also trying to combo is like very hard. It takes a lot of resources to go in one of those directions or the other. And I also think that my munitions experts are like way worse without access to Mug War Marshal. Like Mug War Marshal is a card that looks like absolute like super doo doo on paper, and then you see it in practice, and it does so many things, especially with like making munitions expert live versus things like an early Dreadhorde Arcanist or an Elk or something like that. Um, or like helping you remove planeswalkers. So I don't think that this deck list was bad. I want to start by saying that. Like, this is a good deck, but I think a better version of Goblins exists than this deck. So, like, if I were to enter in a large legacy event right now, like, my eyes are still on this as like the thing that I want to make centric to my plan. And there's a couple of different ways to like really build around Muxus. I think it was XJ Cloud was playing an Ancient Tomb, like City of Traders version of Turbo Muxus. That deck can just go like so fast. Kind of interested in that. Yeah, if you're interested in Conspicuous Snoop, Eli Goings, Goblin Lackey 1, was on Eternal Durdles maybe about 3 weeks ago. And he did a really good deep dive on like why Conspicuous Snoop is not necessarily as good as it looks. Like Conspicuous Snoop was the card that everyone was excited about from Jumpstart, and Muxus was kind of like, oh, that card's kind of cool. Like maybe we'll try that sometimes. And then in practice, it ended up being inverted, and Muxus ended up being so much better than Snoop. Yeah, but I enjoyed this league a lot. Goblins has a lot of moving parts, and like the gameplay is really intricate. You get to do a lot of things with your vial timing, and you also just get to do some things that are just like fun. Like we had some really cool Boggart Harbinger lines. I really liked the one where we got to like put it in on the upkeep to fix our draw step. Like that was cool. Um, I don't think we activated a Kiki Jiki this league, but like there's so many disgusting Kiki Jiki lines that exist. Like even just something as simple as like Kiki Jiki Munitions Expert to just have a recurring removal spell is really good. And then when you get into things like Kiki Jiki, like Goblin Ringleader or Goblin Chain Whirler or Matron, it just gets gross. As far as the sideboard goes, I want another Pyrokinesis. Card is gas. Like, I don't want to leave home without two of those if I'm playing Goblins. Every Goblins list I've played has either had two or three. I'd be eyeing removing maybe Eliminate for a Pyrokinesis. Arguably Puff, we did not successfully combo off this week with the Kiki Jiki Snoop thing. We had a couple opportunities to go for it, but it just felt safer to play like a more controlling game or like a card advantage based game in a lot of those scenarios. Yeah, I think that's all that I have to say about this deck list. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot.